Hello, Thomas Nelson students and families. This screencast is going to review our plan for distance learning as well as address some frequently asked questions. So I would like to thank you all for your flexibility during this time while our teachers have worked very diligently to create meaningful learning experiences for your student and really thinking about what is most important over these next 2 weeks as we think about navigating through this. Also, if you have any additional students in our district, you can go to ncsntidays.com, and that serves as a hub for our entire district. All of the links for all of the schools are right on that website, as well as some additional information about COVID-19. Throughout these next 2 weeks, should you have any questions, you can call 502-349-4650. That will go to our phone services. Ms. Luce and Mr. Morris will be answering the phones for us. While we do not have direct numbers to our teachers, we do have a messaging system that we will be utilizing should you need to get in contact with your student's teacher. Additionally, if you have any questions for myself or Mr. Smith, Mr. Merrifield, the counselors, Mr. Mudd, workforce, etc., you can still call that number, or you can always email. Our email addresses for the district are firstname.lastname@nelson.kyschools.us. For example, mine is courtney.newton@nelson.kyschools.us. Your student will also be receiving additional support in the form of a Google Meet. We have a schedule by content for Google Meets for your student to be able to access to ask questions and gain clarity. Your Care and Connect leader of your student will be reaching out to your student 2 to 3 times a week just to assess if they need any support or any additional needs for your student. So the question of how do you get your work? So your Care and Connect leader will be reaching out to you via phone to inquire about your internet access. And from there, you'll be contacted again to inform you of the plan to get your work if you do not have access to internet. I know that applies to a few of you folks, so we will be able to get those resources to you. We just ask for your patience as we're assessing the needs for our district wide. Your leader will be posting assignments to Google Classroom for the week on the first school day of that week that we miss, and there are links to the lesson slides on the decks below. Your content leader will also host a Google Meet to provide more clarity and create space for demonstrations and questions. So when is your work due? Your leader will post assignments to Google Classroom for the week on the first school day of that week that we miss. Your work will be due on Thursdays by 3 p.m. for the week for all of your classes. This will enable our leaders to really spend Fridays grading those assignments, giving feedback, and putting those grades into Infinite Campus. There'll be at least 2 grades per class each week inserted into Infinite Campus. The question of if your Chromebook was out for repair or if you were a day user comes up. Again, your Care and Connect leader will call you on Tuesday by 2 p.m. to indicate your needs. From there, if you will fall in these camps of somebody who does not have a Chromebook or does not have internet access, you will be contacted again on Wednesday to inform you of what the plan is to get the resources to you. Again, this is being assessed district-wide as the timing of those days off did not allow us to get those paper copies distributed. However, we will get those resources to you. Additionally, all students in Care and Connect will be contacted by their Care and Connect leader to assess any other needs that you might have with transportation, nutrition, etc. Let's talk about some ways to organize your day. It's going to be really important to know that this is not a spring break, it's not a day off, but rather it's time to complete your work from a distance. So routines are going to be essential for that. I recommend that you all set an alarm, wake up at a reasonable time in the morning, and really set a schedule for yourself. So there's a screencast linked here for some examples of what that could look like for you. So utilizing things like Google Calendar, your phone, an agenda, really thinking about being intentional about your day. Slide 9 indicates the Google Meet time schedule. So you can see that we have indicated times. These Google Meets are for support and for clarity, also connectivity in this time of social distancing. So for example, if I'm a sophomore and I needed clarity on English at 9 o'clock, I would go and I would click on Miss Amati's name. So that would take me to a Google Meet where I'd be able to get some more instruction on there. Please note that 11 to 12, our phones will be closed for lunch. This is to enable the care and to give a break for our caretakers who will be manning the phones over these next 2 weeks. A tip for Google Meet. So when you're joining Google Meet, it will be important that you mute your mic. That will kind of avoid some background noise. And also utilizing the Google Chat function on the Google Meet to ask a question of your instructor. So an example of this is if you were doing a Google Meet for your math class and you needed to see a step of the problem again, you would type in that Google Meet, "Can you repeat step 2 of the problem?" This will allow your leader to see that question, address it, while also keeping it organized. So if you are in the ATC, Mr. Etherington at the ATC has said that the ATC teachers have online programs in use. They've already sent home assignments if they do not have online platforms, and they will be keeping in touch with you via email and social media. Should you have any questions about the ATC, please make sure to contact the ATC teacher or Mr. Etherington with any questions you might have. Additionally, we have guidance on work-based learning. If this applies to you and you are currently in work-based learning, please take a look at these slides below, in addition to dual credit. So some of you might be wondering, what about the Excavating Gifts course? We recognize that this distance learning closure is unique and therefore requires an alternate form of distance learning. Therefore, we'll be extending the Excavating Gifts course to a later date to be determined as we continue to receive communications from the health department. We will be postponing the Excavating Gifts course due to the requirements of this unique circumstance. As you know, many of these tasks in the Excavating Gifts course required our students to be out in the community, while we know the recommendation from the health department has been social distancing. Therefore, we will be postponing this work. If your student would like to work on the course and they can maintain social distancing, feel free to do so. However, it is not a priority during this closure. At this point in the slides and below, you will begin to see each leader has a slide. The links to the work are right on that slide. So, for example, we go down to English and you have Miss Moosty as a teacher. You will see the phone number, you will see her email, you will see her Twitter, her remind, what time her Google Meet is. She also has time available by appointment, her Google Meet link, and you'll also see the links to her lessons. So you would click right on that slide deck, and there would be additional information that would be given on what you're supposed to do this week right on that slide deck. It is the same for every leader in our building. So this is where you will find the access to the work and directions. You will go to this slide deck, go down to your teacher for whatever subject it is. Here's another example. Here's Miss Harbin's. All the work is linked right on there. There should be directions on there. Google Classroom will be utilized to turn in assignments. The directions for the assignments will be right on this slide deck. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, again, to your teachers directly or to myself or Ms. Luce. Give the school a call. We're here for you all in this time. Make sure to take care of yourself, each other, and this place. Go Generals.